Welcome back to the show. April Madison, K-Gun 9 on your side, joins us in studio. So we're going to take a few phone calls. We were talking about the streetcar, which I know you're a big fan of. Looking forward to that. You have it lined up to do some reports from the streetcar at some point, live from the streetcar?
Not myself, but
April Madison?
maybe somebody.
Maybe, yeah. They're trying to figure out how to pay for it because it's really expensive. So they're talking about selling off naming rights, not like advertisements, but actual naming rights. So
really,
like the Diamond Streetcar, or we thought Raytheon would be good. Maybe we could attach some artillery on top of it or something.
Oh, yes.
But people have been calling up with their suggestions of who could sponsor the streetcar, and I think it would be good. And this is actually in all seriousness.
So it is kind of like a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, a naming sponsor.
Yeah, a naming sponsor.
Okay.
But I think it would be good if they embraced that this thing is going to be used by kids bar hopping. You know what I mean? So they should let the businesses along Fourth Avenue.
In theory, that's really what
what it's going to be used for.
They're going to be doing that instead of driving, which is much safer.
So we got a couple of holdover phone calls I want to grab real quick.
Oh, you lost one.
No, I didn't lose one. Linda decided to pick them up. Let's go and talk with Jack. Good morning, Jack. Welcome to 104.1 The Truth.
Hi, John. This is Jack. Hey, I think you're onto something. You know, let's keep the drunk students off the street. But better than that, let's just find a microbrewery that will sponsor the car and keep the students on it.
Now you're really on to something. So you've taken it to its logical conclusion. They don't even have to go to the bar.
Yeah, now we don't. So every bar would compete for that one. It's okay. We want to be on that. We want that streetcar.
Party trade is what we're saying. That's right. The bar streetcar.
It probably would be a lot more popular.
It would be, and kids would not get off. They would just go back and forth. Let's talk.
Is there a statute of limitations on how long you can ride?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like the monorail. You can only go so far, and then you have to get off and then get back on. Good morning, Roxanne. I got about a minute. What you got?
Hey, Roxanne out here in Marana. I think because of the strong support that the county has for Rosemont, I think we need to put the faces of the four board of
supervisors, right? You know what?
And Chuck. Of course.
Well, we want people to ride it though, Roxanne, and I don't think you want to board the streetcar when the doors open up and it separates Chuckleberry's face right in front of you. That would just seem really creepy.
Now I should bring that up. It just kind of came to mind.
Right.
But,
no, a good suggestion nonetheless, and I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, John.
8:36. All right, before we get to our guests in studio, April Madison, K-Gun 9 on your side, has an extended look at your forecast.
We got some clouds out there this morning, and it is going to stay that way. We could see peaks of sun here and there through the early part of the afternoon, but eventually becoming mostly cloudy once again. 82, though, for the high, so the clouds aren't really going to impact our warm-up much. Still expecting to be the warmest day of the week. 78 tomorrow, so we'll start to see just a few degrees of cooling as we move into the weekend. Mid-70s, really, for the weekend. The sunshine returns. Even at 75, 76, though, we're still, probably 3 to 4 degrees above where we should be. So today looking to definitely be the warmest day of the week. We'll see overnight lows for the most part in the low to mid 50s, and we're not expecting any rain out of this. Could get a little bit gusty, though, Friday and Saturday. I think Friday may be the worst of it if we see it at all. So you're flying with your son on Saturday morning should be okay.
Okay, good. He was very concerned about that.
This forecast was just for you.
I have to go buy him a new propeller prop. One of them broke.
Oh, and it crashed? Like in a crash?
No. It was on the ground. It tilted forward and gink, and then it snapped the corner of it. And that's literally the sound that it makes.
Kind of like a pricey hobby.
Yeah, we don't have to get into that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my son likes to tell everybody how much those planes cost, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
Got to get him to stop doing that.
Now watch me fly this puppy.
Yeah, that's right. He's very much like, and it costs so much money. Unbelievable.
You're like,
you need to stop. Yeah, you need to stop. That's on a need to know
Until
basis.
Until you start paying for it yourself.
My dad doesn't need to know I owe him money. Stop. All right. So let's go here. I've had some heart issues in the past, April Madison.
A few of them.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I'm doing good now. Last year we had on. Sarah, who joins us in studio, and Sabina. We had them on last year as well. Good morning, ladies. How we doing this morning?
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
You reached out just to kind of set the stage again from Mended Little Hearts. Sarah, you had reached out to me last year. You guys were having the cocktail party, correct? Mm-hmm. And you were looking for support, and I had never heard of Mended Little Hearts before. And we had both of you on the show. Was able to give some support for this fundraising effort you had. And then this year, we really wanted to attach ourselves to a charity. And obviously near and dear to my heart, this organization. And so we're doing everything that we can this year here on the John Justice Show and 104.1 The Truth to help out your organization. So Sarah, let's start there. And April Madison can join in the conversation as well. For those that just aren't familiar, or maybe you're just tuning in, how did Mended Little Hearts of Tucson start, and what is your organization all about?
So we're a local organization that supports children who have had some type of CHD, usually going through open heart surgery at Diamonds Children's Center. And these families are in need of support so that they have other people around them, maybe children, family, who have had the same issues, because it's really difficult when you're talking to your family if you haven't actually been through it. Yeah. We provide a lot of support for the teenagers and the adults as well in our organization.
Sabina, step on up to the mic, and again, what procedures have you had to go through so far?
So far, I've had 4 open heart surgeries and 1 heart cath.
What does that do to you physically? I mean, do you feel like you're still living a full teen life, or do you feel like you've been impaired by that at all?
Well, the most recent surgery I had was in December, and before then I had some restrictions where I couldn't keep up with the other kids, especially when I was doing dance, but since then it's gotten a lot better.
So just this December you've been through another one too?
Yeah.
How have the procedures changed since the first one up until now? Has the technology advanced enough to where it's not quite as evasive as it has before, or has it been pretty standard every single time?
All of them have been open heart surgery, so they've all been still pretty invasive, but the technology that they've been using has definitely been getting better.
Sarah, do we know if we're getting closer? I know I talked to some doctors over my last surgery a couple of years ago that we were getting closer to going less invasive on this. Do we know if we're getting anywhere near, so we don't have to go ahead and go all the way in through the rib cage anymore?
Depending on the facility, there's every day they're working on different ways to be less invasive, not having to actually open up the cavity and work on the heart. Obviously laser, there's all kinds of advancements. Unfortunately, you do have to kind of search out the different hospitals that are actually doing that cutting edge technology, but it is out there and it's very progressive.
A lot of it is dependent too, I think, on the type of surgery as well. When I went through mine, between the bicuspid heart valve and the aneurysm that I was suffering, there was thoughts of doing just one so it wouldn't have to be so evasive. And then it's like, well, look, we got to take care of both of these at one point. Let's go ahead and go all the way in, and then the corrective part of it afterwards. Did you have another question?
Well, I'm just curious. Does CHD, does it affect all ages, or is there a certain type or time, or is it as young as toddler?
It's newborns. I mean, they're actually diagnosing it while you're pregnant now. So they're actually, the technology is, we've grown fantastically. And yeah, you can actually detect any type of heart issues, in the womb now.
Does that help then with the healing later on, or the surgeries that they know it earlier on? Did they get a better handle on it at that point?
I feel like it does give you, a heads up so you can start preparing for that, because there's just so much that goes into that, especially if you do have to end up having open heart surgery. But yeah, right now it's just the technology is absolutely fantastic for us.
Now, you can go on by 1041thetruth.com right now on the John Justice Show page, and there you can click over to the link not only to the Mended Little Hearts of Tucson website, but also the list of items that we've been asking for to help with these care bags, which we'll get back into. We'll talk a little bit about in just a moment. The interesting thing about it, too, and I think we talked about the tests that can be done now, is a lot of times, this goes unnoticed. Like, for example, they would have known if I was tested as a child. Obviously, that technology wasn't there at the time. But if I had been tested as a child, they would have caught what was going on with me a heck of a lot earlier. It wouldn't have been when I was, 37 years old and had to go through a heart attack because of it. And so it really is a good idea, and we always suggest it, to go through that test to have your children checked out to see if they're dealing with it, because it's something that if you don't know,
But should anyone do that? I mean, should anyone do that, regardless of whether they've shown signs? Should it be something you just automatically test your children for?
Well, that's the interesting point, is that a lot of our kids don't show any signs.
Yeah.
My son, no one ever would have known. He didn't ever have any of the typical signs of being blue, out of breath, weakness, anything like that. So really, there are no signs. The only way that you would be able to tell is by when you go to your doctor's office or their checkups, whatnot, and then have them listen to the heart and listen to the heartbeat and listen for any irregularities.
Is it known to be more genetic?
It's a congenital heart defect, but as far as, why it happens or, who's, disposed to it, we don't know. I mean, it's just one of those.
Because you've seen both. You've seen it be genetic, and you've also seen it occur in people that don't have it in their family history at all.
Correct.
Yeah, we did in my family. I mean, we didn't.
Yeah, and a lot of people
nothing.
don't know for that exact reason. I mean, it's not something like, well, my grandfather, had an issue or whatnot, and all of a sudden, your children are dealing with it.
What's the testing? What's the extent of the testing?
My son actually went in for his first year checkup, and they just listened with a stethoscope for his heartbeat, heard an irregular heartbeat, which is, normal. Most children do have what they call a heart murmur. And, we watched it from there, and it was just a really irregular heartbeat for him. And then, we had to go in every year. He still goes in every year to a pediatric cardiologist to get checked up and make sure everything's okay with like an echocardiogram.
How old is your son?
He's 9 now.
And how long has he been dealing with this? When did you first notice it?
At his 1 year checkup.
Wow.
We noticed. And I actually, when the pediatrician came in, I didn't believe her.
Well, sure.
Because
that's got to be hard to believe.
Well, I didn't want to believe it.
Well, right.
Yeah.
With everything that comes with it, and of course you're instantly on, the websites looking for things and trying to figure out what's going on. So, that's why I'm proud to be part of this group, because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there. So, medically, we do have all of our, facts and whatnot, so we can give people correct information, because it's pretty scary what you can find on the websites.
Talking with Sarah and Sabina from the Mended Little Hearts of Tucson. Just real quick, April, and then let you get to your question as well. Do you guys have a good number on how many children that you are currently assisting here in Tucson?
Like at the hospital right now?
Yeah.
Probably about 8 to 10. Between the NICU and the PICU at Diamonds Children's Center.
Wow.
How many is there, like an average of? I assume that we talk about it more on the show. People find out more about it, get their kids tested. Has there been an increase in the past year or so of
the percentage?
Yeah, percentage of kids that you're able to go and help, or finding out that their children are dealing with this?
Absolutely. I feel like the awareness part of it. If you don't know about something. You have no reason to go get it tested or go look it up, whatnot. So I feel like that the definite awareness has been huge. Just getting people to start talking about it and ask questions of their pediatricians. So I think that's really important.
Now, has your son been through surgeries?
Yes.
How many?
He's just had one, actually.
Is that common? Is there any way to cure it or to treat it without surgery?
No, I mean, there's no cure.
There is no cure.
I mean, they're working towards trying to find out exactly why it happens, so that they can be more proactive. But and the surgeries, they're, like you said, Sabina, they're very invasive, and it's really hard for the kids to go through.
What is the success rate, though, for people with congenital heart disease?
The earlier it's caught, the higher the success rate. And I was actually going to pass this along to you guys to show you the different statistics. It's actually the number one birth defect, which a lot of people don't know.
Wow.
And nearly 1 in every 100 babies are born with a congenital heart defect of some sort. It may be, more mild or more severe. And it's also the number one cause of birth affected deaths in the world. So yeah, it's pretty scary, and a lot of people don't know the facts of it, but it's a pretty big deal. And thank you guys so much for having us on here to talk about it. I really appreciate it.
Sabina, I have a question for you. I was actually talking with somebody else who had a family member going through a different type of procedure. It wasn't heart related, and this was the second time they were going through this. And I didn't ask them this. They volunteered the information, but they said that they were having a harder time dealing with it than their loved one was, because their loved one had been through it already. I know that when I went through my second open heart surgery, it was like I got into a time machine, because I was going through it. I was actually the same hospital. I was going through everything again. It seemed like it was harder for everybody. It was harder for everybody around me than it was for me, because I knew what I was getting into. You having gone through 4, has it been the same for you? Has it been easier because you know what to expect, and have you had more confidence going into the procedures and say that first one or those first 2?
Well, the first 3 really that I had, I don't remember much because I was really young. The oldest I was for the until the one in December was 5.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't remember it as much, but I'm sure my parents and my family remembered it more. But the one in December, I mean, it was still difficult, but I knew what was going to happen because I'd had it before, and it went really well.
Are you done with procedures now, or are you going to have more down the road?
We're not sure right now.
Yeah, at this point, praying that this is it for now.
Do you spend a lot of your time in the hospital? I mean, even without the surgeries, you don't have to do that. That's good.
What was the most difficult part of the recovery for you?
Really with just how invasive it was, I had to be really careful, and it hurt really bad for a while.
Yeah. When it comes down, it really is. It's the breaking open of the chest part of it that's the worst part of it. I mean, everything internally that's done.
Yeah.
You know, you don't feel any of that. It's everything. It's all it's just that impact of having that having that done to your body. It's just it's brutal. You're doing great, by the way. I would not have even have known if you hadn't have mentioned it. Sarah, before we let you go this morning, again, first off, let's do this. Go by the website, 1041thetruth.com. We'll talk about more of this coming up once we're done with our interview, because we're running a little bit short on time, about what you can do to help in terms of the care packages. But I wanted to make sure you could mention what's going on with Subway and what you guys have planned.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. We're having a dine-out night with Subway. We have 3 restaurants here in Tucson. It's Saturday, March 29th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we have an east side location at 5480 East Speedway, a northwest location at 7262 North Oracle, and a south side location at 1710 West Valencia Road. 10% of all the proceeds are going to go back to Mended Little Hearts of Tucson. There's no need to have any flyer. You can just mention that you're there to support us, and they'll take care of it for us. We'll also have a representative on hand from Mended Little Hearts if anybody wanted to drop off any donations or, come talk to us about anything. We'll have that there at that time as well.
And I'll have all the information on the details of the Subway event and where you can go up on my page when the show is done today. Again, right now is the link where you can go and get the list of items you can donate to add to the care bags, which is the ongoing effort, is filling up those care bags.
Correct.
For the kids that are going through the open heart surgery in Diamond Children's Center. Do you guys adjust those items in the care bags at all? I mean, it's a great care package, and they're things that people can buy at the grocery store or any department store. But do you guys fluctuate the items in that around?
Actually, yeah, we, depending on the influx of donations, Sabino works at Aeropostale, so they donated a bunch of stuffed bears for our kiddos.
Awesome.
And we were able to give one to each one of our members, and then we also put them in the care bags. So depending on what we get, sometimes we fluff them up a little more. This one's actually really full now. We've been having a really great success with the donations, so lots of great support. One of your listeners, Sherry Earl, she was retired here from Pine Top, Arizona, gave us about 200 Beanie Babies, brand new with the tags.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
She could talk about you for about an hour. She was the nicest lady ever.
Oh, cool.
And they donated the bears that are actually inside for the kids too as well.
That's awesome.
Well, Sarah and Sabina, thanks so much for allowing us to help you guys out, and thanks for taking time out to come in this morning. And we'll be talking to you again throughout the year. And continue good luck in your recovery, Sabina. It's good to see you again.
You too. Thank you.
And again, for more details on this, go to 1041thetruth.com and the John Justice Show page. We'll talk to you guys again real soon.
Thank you so much for having us.
What are the parents, I can't even imagine what they're going through. And so besides, providing like support.